Most men go through life thinking they need to impress women with money, looks, or charm. But what if I told you that the real key to attraction has nothing to do with any of that? What if I told you the real power lies in understanding the invisible triggers that control female desire, the subtle psychological weaknesses that women themselves may not even realize they have? You see, women, just like men, have subconscious desires, emotional vulnerabilities, and instinctive responses that shape every choice they make. But here's the catch. Most men will go through their entire lives without ever learning how to recognize or use them. That changes today. Because in this video, we're diving deep into 10 hidden female weaknesses, psychological triggers that, once understood, will completely change the way you interact with women. Forever. Let's begin. The power of emotional certainty. Women are emotional creatures, not because they're unstable, but because their emotions guide their decision-making, especially when it comes to love and connection. Their greatest hidden weakness? A deep, instinctive craving for emotional certainty. A woman doesn't just want passion or excitement. She wants to feel safe. She wants to know that when life gets chaotic, the man standing next to her will not collapse emotionally, that he can handle storms without losing control. If she senses that you're moody, reactive, or dependent on her for emotional stability, she instantly feels unsafe. And when a woman feels unsafe, attraction dies. Because in that moment, she realizes she has to become the strong one. She becomes the emotional anchor, and you become the fragile one. That switch kills desire faster than anything else. So what's the solution? Stoic calmness. When she's upset, you stay grounded. When things don't go your way, you don't complain. When challenges arise, you face them with quiet, steady confidence. The man who provides emotional certainty becomes her safe haven, her psychological home. She may not even be able to explain why, but she'll keep coming back. Because that emotional stability is her greatest weakness. Women are drawn to what they can't have. There's a universal law of human psychology. We value what is scarce. That's why diamonds, limited edition watches, and luxury cars carry such powerful allure. They're not everywhere, they're rare. Women operate on the exact same principle, especially when it comes to men. Her hidden weakness? She's irresistibly drawn to men she can't fully have. The moment she feels like she's completely won you, her attraction begins to fade, because certainty kills desire. Most men make the mistake of being too available. They text back instantly. They're always around. They over-explain. They overgive. That energy screams, I need you. And nothing kills female attraction faster than neediness. But when you flip the script, when you maintain your independence, when you reveal yourself slowly, when you let her wonder, what's he doing right now? That mystery triggers something primal inside her. Her subconscious mind starts whispering, why can't I figure him out? Why does he feel so different from other guys? That uncertainty fuels her imagination, and desire follows. Don't always be available. Let her earn your time. Keep a part of yourself just out of reach. When a woman realizes she can't completely own your attention, she'll start fighting to earn it. The unspoken power of deep voice and presence. One of the most underrated psychological triggers for attraction is a man's voice and the energy behind it. Studies show that men with deeper, calmer, more deliberate voices are perceived as more dominant, trustworthy, and attractive. But here's what most men miss. It's not just the tone of your voice. It's your entire presence. Presence is what speaks before your words do. It's how you walk into a room, how you look around, how you stand when nobody's watching. A man with true presence doesn't rush. He moves with purpose. He doesn't fidget. He doesn't overreact. He maintains eye contact just long enough to show confidence, then looks away with composure, not anxiety. That's the kind of energy that makes a woman stop scrolling her phone, lift her head, and feel something she can't explain. It's biological. Evolutionary psychology reveals that a deep voice subconsciously signals high testosterone, leadership, and calm dominance. To a woman, it whispers, "This man is safe to follow." You don't need to fake it. You don't need to force it. Simply slow down. Speak from your chest, not your throat. Let silence work for you. Because a confident man is never in a hurry to be heard. Remember this. You can't command a woman's attention with words until your presence already has it. Women can't resist a man who walks away. Now let's talk about one of the most powerful and misunderstood triggers in female psychology. If you want to activate a woman's deepest emotional weakness, walk away like you don't need her. Because here's the truth. People only value what they fear losing. When a woman senses that a man will stay no matter how she behaves, she relaxes, but not in a good way. She gets comfortable, maybe even careless. Most men, when they feel her pulling away, start chasing. They text more, call more, explain more, but that energy only proves one thing: that you need her more than she needs you. And the second she senses that, attraction dies. A man who can walk away without hesitation communicates something women rarely see anymore: self-respect. He's not cold. He's not heartless. He's just grounded in a truth that most men forget. My worth doesn't depend on who stays or who leaves. That energy drives women crazy because it creates emotional contrast, uncertainty mixed with admiration. When she knows that you're willing to walk away if disrespected, manipulated, or undervalued, she begins to value you more than any man who ever begged for her time. It's not manipulation, and it's maturity. It's showing her that you have standards, and those standards are not negotiable. Remember, when you're willing to walk away, you'll rarely have to. A man with a mission is her kryptonite. Here's the truth about attraction that most men never grasp. A woman's biggest weakness isn't a man's looks, money, or status. It's his purpose. A man who's driven by something bigger than himself, a vision, a mission, a legacy, becomes magnetic in ways no luxury car or six-pack ever could. Purpose creates focus. Focus creates discipline, and discipline radiates strength. When a woman sees a man building something, chasing mastery, perfecting his craft, staying up late to build his empire, her subconscious mind begins to label him as high value because he represents progress, he represents leadership, he represents safety and motion. On the other hand, a man who makes a woman his entire mission loses her respect instantly. She doesn't want to be the center of your world. She wants to orbit your world, to feel like she's part of a bigger journey. When she sees you working late, focused, unstoppable, that's when her attraction spikes. Because deep down she knows, if I want his time, I have to earn it. So ask yourself, what are you building? What do you stand for when she's not around? What's your mountain to climb? Because if you don't have one, she'll never truly see you as the man she's meant to follow. The paradox of controlled vulnerability. There's a fine line between connection and weakness. Too much vulnerability and she loses respect. Too little and she can't connect. Most men swing to either extreme. They either hide everything or overshare in the hope of appearing open. Both approaches fail. A woman's hidden weakness lies in her fascination with men who can balance strength with softness, who can be real but never needy. She doesn't want a stone wall who never feels. But she also doesn't want a man who falls apart emotionally and dumps his struggles on her. Controlled vulnerability is an art. It's when you show emotion without losing control of it. When you can admit pain, but only after you've conquered it. When you can tell your story, but not from a place of pity, rather from wisdom. For example, instead of saying, "I'm broken from my past," you say, "I've been through some dark times, but I learned who I am because of them." That's power, that's leadership. Women find it deeply magnetic because it shows you faced chaos and turned it into calm. You faced pain and didn't run from it. A man who can open up selectively on his own terms becomes unforgettable. He makes her feel special for being the one he chose to share with, but never makes her responsible for fixing him. Remember this rule: your emotions should be visible like the surface of an ocean, calm, deep, but never out of control. A man who can be vulnerable yet composed becomes a paradox she can't decode. and that mystery keeps her hooked. Women are programmed to test your strength. This is one truth that separates boys from men. Women will test you, and the stronger her attraction, the more she'll test. These tests aren't random or cruel. They're biological. They're the mind's way of asking, is this man truly strong? Or is he just pretending? She might challenge your opinions to see if you'll crumble. She might pull away slightly to see if you'll panic. She might disagree just to watch your reaction. When you understand this, her tests stop frustrating you and start exciting you. Because now you realize every test is an invitation to prove your emotional strength. Here's what weak men do. They get defensive. They over-explain. They raise their voice. Or they start chasing to win her approval again. Here's what powerful men do. They smile. They stay calm. They don't take the bait. If she tries to rattle you, you meet her energy with stillness. If she gets emotional, you ground the moment with silence and confidence. That's when she feels it. That quiet power that can't be shaken. Remember, women only test the men they're attracted to. If she's testing you, it means she sees potential. She just needs proof. So when she challenges you, don't fail the test. Pass it by staying centered, smiling, and letting your composure speak louder than words. When you stay calm under her emotional storm, she realizes one thing. You're not a boy. You're a rock. And rocks don't get moved by waves. Confidence in the face of rejection is irresistible. Every man fears rejection, but only the weak are controlled by it. The few who embrace it, laugh at it, and move on without losing energy become untouchable. Women are secretly weak for men who handle rejection with ease and humor. Why? Because it shows self-worth that doesn't depend on anyone's approval. When you get turned down and you simply smile, shrug, and say, "No problem, your loss," you instantly separate yourself from 99% of men who crumble inside. Rejection only hurts when your confidence is borrowed, when you depend on her reaction to feel valuable. But when your confidence is built from the inside out, rejection becomes just another moment in the day. Here's the psychology behind it. When a man reacts calmly to rejection, it triggers curiosity in a woman's mind. She begins to think, wait, why didn't that affect him? What does he know about himself that other men don't? And that curiosity quickly turns into attraction. So the next time you face rejection, don't hide from it. Embrace it. Smile. Maintain your energy. Because rejection doesn't define you, it exposes your strength. A man who can walk through rejection without breaking stride is a man women can't forget. He's not trying to be chosen. He already knows he's the prize. Women obsess over men who are hard to read. Here's a paradox that most men never understand. If a woman always knows how you feel, she stops wondering. And when she stops wondering, she stops chasing. Curiosity is the fuel of female attraction. It's what keeps her mind spinning when you're not around. Most men kill that curiosity far too early. They text back instantly. They confess their feelings too soon. They make every move predictable. But the men who remain a little mysterious, who respond on their own time, who share just enough but not everything, they create psychological tension. That tension is the birthplace of attraction. Being hard to read doesn't mean playing manipulative games or pretending to be cold. It means maintaining emotional composure and selective openness. It means you're calm but unpredictable, kind but mysterious, available but not accessible to everyone. When you master this, a woman starts to think about you constantly. She replays your conversations. She wonders what you're thinking. She imagines what you might say next. You've occupied her mind. Not because you begged for attention, but because you gave her something rare in today's world. Emotional uncertainty mixed with masculine stability. She's drawn to it, addicted to it. And she doesn't even know why. Because in a world full of loud, oversharing, desperate energy, the man who moves in silence becomes unforgettable. A man who controls his desires controls everything. The final and most powerful weakness. A woman cannot resist a man who's in control of himself. Every day, most men are ruled by desire. They chase beauty, validation, pleasure, like slaves to impulse. But a man who has mastered his desires radiates a different energy. He doesn't chase, he chooses. He's not desperate for connection. He decides who earns his time. He doesn't confuse lust with purpose. He knows the difference. And that discipline, that quiet control, drives women crazy. Because it communicates one thing louder than words ever could. I don't need you, but I could choose you. That's dominance without arrogance. That's confidence without words. When you stop chasing women, they start chasing you. When you stop begging for attention, you become the one who commands it. When you stop letting pleasure distract you from purpose, your entire presence changes. You walk differently. You speak differently. You feel different. Because the man who controls his desires controls his reality. And that is the ultimate masculine power. The closing lesson, the stoic truth. Attraction isn't about tricks, tactics, or fake confidence. It's about mastering yourself. Women are drawn to men who are grounded, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Men who walk with quiet strength, not noise. Men who don't seek validation because they've already validated themselves. Men who don't chase pleasure because they're building purpose. When you cultivate these traits, emotional certainty, presence, mission, self-control, you stop being the guy trying to get women and start becoming the man women try to understand. Because here's the truth most people will never tell you. When you embody strength, purpose, and peace, women don't just want you. They need you. Not out of weakness, but out of admiration. Because deep down, every woman craves a man whose energy feels like home. Unshakable, grounded, certain. Be that man. If this message resonated with you, if you're done chasing approval and ready to become the kind of man women respect, desire, and remember, then it's time to take action, where we decode attraction, discipline, and psychology from the perspective of true masculine strength. Leave a comment with the word stoic if you're committed to mastering yourself before you master anyone else. Because attraction starts within. Stay strong, stay grounded, and never chase.